Critical Role Recap Season 2, Episode 23. So at the end of last week's episode, they finished off the fishmen that they found. Ford shoved the tiger's eye stone into his stomach, and they used one of their dynamite sticks to blow up the access point that the fishermen had been using to get into the gentleman's stash hideout. At the beginning of this week's episode, they have rested up and they are making their way back to town. The group decides to go ahead and stop off at the troll's house to try and get their 100 gold back and to kill a troll. So they do that. Caleb leads the way using his memory. He gets lost a little bit though because the swamp all looks the same. But they do eventually make their way back to the troll's house and not find the troll still residing within. They use their last stick of dynamite and chuck it in there and blow up the troll's house and the troll, but it really doesn't do very much damage, so they end up getting into a fight with the troll. They remembered from their last attempt that they need to keep their distance as best as possible because doing damage to the troll causes its pustules to burst poison damage all over them. The troll does manage to get to melee range with Ford, however, and Ford ends up getting knocked down a total of 3 times in this one fight. The troll actually gets knocked down and then regenerates itself and comes back to life at one point. So then they finally manage to drag Ford to safety and finish off the troll with fire and kill it for good. Jester then cuts out its heart and keeps it for later to try and sell. They stop off at the Apothecary and begin negotiations for selling the troll heart, which the Apothecary there is very much interested in. They make an agreement that he'll brew up some healing potions for them and also something special for Molly. The following morning, they go back there and make the trade. They get some sort of weird potion, as well as what I think is a greater healing potion. I'm not entirely sure. And like 50 gold. And then Molly buys some odds and ends. They then immediately begin making their way to Hupperduke, the town that is on their way to the town that they're going for the second job that they have from the gentleman. Jester used her new spell called Sending to let the gentleman know that they had completed the first task and were on their way to the second. They spent a few nights out on the road on their way to Hupperduke, and without much occasion occurring. However, they did end up one night getting ambushed by a group of bandits, which just happened to be a group of bandits led by the bandit that they had placed in charge of the former group of bandits that they had mostly eviscerated. They lit the leader on fire and made them all take off their pants and leave all their weapons behind. After battle had started, the guy realized who it was and told his whole crew to stop, like, just stop now, trust me, stop. Because he was worried that they were all going to get killed because he remembered the group, he remembered the Mighty Nine and remembered that they were powerful and would destroy them. So they all did end up agreeing to just go on their own separate ways, basically. And they left them as tribute the overturned covered wagon that the bandits had stolen. So Molly removed the covering part to put on top of their own wagon, as he had planned on trying to build some sort of thing out of spare parts to cover their wagon. He ended up being able to just take it off of this wagon and put it on their own. They also bought some tents and some modern clothes in the crossing, which was just kind of this like meetup place where different roads split off in different directions. They bought a few supplies there and headed on their way, where they finally arrived in Hupperduke. And they found out that Hupperduke is a town of industry, and it is currently booming with industry, as one of their main things that they do apparently is build war machines, basically. So like ballistae and scorpions and siege towers. So all of these things are under construction. And they also find out that it's mostly gnomes and dwarves, apparently like 80% of the population, but they spend 10 to 12 hours a day, every day, no weekends, working. And then as soon as work is done, they start partying like the night through or something. So we actually ended this episode with the party for this night just beginning. Other than that, we got a little bit more of Not backstory, which was accidentally shared with the whole group because Kiri overheard Not talking to Caleb and then shared that information with the whole group. But it was basically just the name of the gnome that she had talked about that she had started to like and wanted to help out. And we also got a little bit more Ford information via a Ford and Molly exchange. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There was the bit of combat at the beginning with the troll, which was fun. And then the very brief, it wasn't even full-on combat with the bandits. Other than that, it was character development and their travels going to Hupperduke. So next episode, we should start off with a big old gnome party. And yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week.